right, folks, thanks for joining me for this episode. So today I went snorkeling. Now I first went snorkeling in Plein episode 88 on a tour to a neighboring island of Maui on a little tour boat. I didn't really see much. It was kind of unfortunate, but it was still a cool experience, my first time ever snorkeling. So I decided toward the end of my trip here in Hawaii, I rented some snorkel gear and went out myself and saw some really cool stuff. Followed this small sea turtle for a while, and it led us to a larger sea turtle. This sea turtle is kind of eating a lot, and we kind of just watched these turtles for like 15, 20 minutes. It's just an incredible experience. You know, there you can see its head and its flippers. This was a big turtle. It was probably 4 to 5 feet. It was just really cool, man. Really cool to see. And this is actually another day of snorkeling. This was my last day in Hawaii snorkeling, but I wanted to group these together even though they weren't on the same day, just so you guys can see all the snorkeling I did. I just went out on 2 occasions by myself, or, not with a tour group or anything, just renting snorkeling supplies, and ended up seeing another sea turtle. And that one, we saw it for a few minutes, and then it just swam out into the depths of the ocean, and there was no way I was following it out there. So I stuck to the shoreline, seeing some of the reef here, and seeing a school of fish, man. It's unbelievable seeing the amount of life down there. Super epic, man. It's just an amazing, incredible experience. There's not much else to say about it, really. It's just, it's such an alien world. And I was always kind of creeped out. I'm like, man, I hope a shark didn't come out of the blue out of nowhere, because if it does, man, there's no way I can swim faster than it. Like, there's just no way. So there's always that in the back of my mind, but it's also cool seeing this stuff. Now, this was really cool. This is an eel, and it doesn't look like I'm that close to it, but, because I'm using like a GoPro type camera, but I was probably a little too close to this thing. I was hovering right above it, and it seemed pretty close, and then it started swimming. I was like, oh God, but it kind of just stuck to the bottom. It's just an incredible thing to witness this, man. Seeing an eel down there swimming along and just swimming out to another little hideout. It's like I was witnessing a nature documentary in real time, in real life. It's just an incredible experience, man. And it's just seeing a bunch of different kinds of fish, tropical fish, super cool. Some of these are really colorful. Like this one we'll see here, this blue one. It's like blue and orange and purple. It's just incredible colors. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the ocean in this way because it kind of creeps me out, but ended up seeing a dog as well. It was pretty cool. He likes just getting out on this bodyboard. Sometimes he'll jump in the water and swim out to people and say hello and then jump back on the board. It was just it's so cool seeing all the different, there's just so many cool people out there, so many cool things to see and witness in this life. And it's cool I really faced my fear doing this snorkeling because I do not like deep water, but I had a little floaty belt around my waist, so I didn't really have to worry about swimming or anything. So I had kind of a life jacket on, and I was kind of just float on the surface of the water and just check out these fish swimming by. And yeah, it's incredible seeing all the life down there, and it's just a amazing place, this world, And here's the beach that I snorkeled at and stuff. Really one of the best beaches out there on Maui, I think, anyway. So let's get into the painting now. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing some of that. Just I like sharing my experiences, whether it's painting or not, kind of showing what I did that day. And now it's the evening. And I think with this sunset, I think I only decided to paint it right as the sun had just gone down. I was really didn't think I was going to paint anything this evening, and I ended up painting 2 paintings back to back. So sometimes that's how it goes. It was just like kind of I was watching the sunset, and then I was like, do I really want to paint it? Try to paint it. I was kind of debating it, and I was like, you know what? Let's just do it. Let's do it. I'm right here. It'll take a second, a minute or so to get my setup out, and I started capturing the sunset, or trying to. And this sunset was particularly very red and pink, and that's always a challenge, man. It's always, these sunsets are. It's almost, I've heard some artists say like, oh, it's pointless. Like sunsets are kind of a pointless subject to paint, but I've painted some pretty beautiful sunsets, I think. Not every one of them is really good or like a great painting, but it's an honest effort, and it's always cool trying to capture the different color harmonies out there. And once you lay out all these sunsets, you can, once you have a few sunset paintings, it's cool when I lay all them out together and see them. And a lot of them are similar, but you can definitely see differences in the colors out there. And it just shows you that every day, every sunset is a different experience. So for me, they're pretty fun to capture. It's not just that you get a cool painting out of it and it's a cool experience, like witnessing and seeing the sunset. It's also, I feel that I get a mental workout, because I have to paint super quickly. I have to mix colors very quickly. It allows me to make decisions. It's like a practice of making decisions quickly, because you don't have time to like, oh, should I paint this cloud in, or should I do this? Should I do that? I mean, you have a minute or so to think about that, but it's like, man, just make a decision and do it. Go for it. Is it going to come out well? I don't know, but let me try it. Let me just do it. So I'm adding some waves in here, as you can see, just some different values in the water. Like I said, this probably isn't like the greatest painting ever, the greatest sunset I've painted, but it's an experience. It's an exercise in mixing colors quickly, strengthening that mental ability of painting very quickly. Because sometimes it's just good to be able to paint stuff quickly and capture something on the fly like that if you need to do that. Most of the time we have cameras and stuff now, but something like a sunset, it's very hard for a camera to capture, especially like on your phone. It's hard for a camera to really capture the true essence of that sunset. So now that the sun is set, I turn my attention behind me, and there's this cool building. I kind of planned this a few days ahead that I was probably going to paint this at night. They had some cool torches lit up for lighting. And I decided that I was going to paint this at night and give it a shot. So it was kind of hard for me to figure out where to start on this painting. So I started out with kind of this orange glow on the building from these little torches they had lit up. And the tricky thing about this is I don't have, the pencils I have with me for drawing this sketch are very light pencils. So that's why I can't do big washes. I don't normally do big washes and stuff, because I would end up losing the drawing. And something like this, like an architecture, I really needed the drawing. So I kind of had to paint it like this, kind of wet into wet, different areas. It was kind of a struggle. But in the end, I think it was a cool effort. I've never really painted a nocturne like this. And I was using, the light I was using was the flashlight on my cell phone. So, I just kind of did what I could. Had my palette there and my sketchbook there and just had it lit up. And, I probably could have gone a lot darker in this painting and maybe a bit less colorful, at least in the shadow areas. But like I said, this was my first nocturne ever, painting something at night. And it's super difficult. It's super difficult, especially plein air. It's not like I had a photograph to go from and I'm in my studio. Everything is super dark outside. The only thing that's lit up is my painting. So I'm just working this this building, trying to get the building up the darks, and also trying to keep my lights and keep them very warm. And this is right on the ocean, so that purple to the right, that's the ocean with some warm reflections. So I'm just trying to focus on the light, getting that warmth in there, because that's what's going to give this a light effect and like make sure, give it that look of warmth and stuff that I'm going for, because most of the lights around at night, these were warm type of lights. So I'm really trying to keep that effect. And what I'm painting around right now is a street light. So there's a light off to this side as well. So I'm trying to get that to look right as well. I mean, it's super tricky. But I'm always up for trying stuff and pushing myself. Because that's how you grow. You have to fail. You have to try things out, see what works, what doesn't work. And that's what I was doing here. So now I'm putting in the torches here, at least the stems of these little tiki torches or whatever they had, lighting up this restaurant. And I'm trying to paint the interior, so a lot of it was a dark background, but there was some interesting colors and stuff. And then I realized I needed to just focus on the light effect, because that's what I'm going for. So, and that's one of the torches there I'm painting in, and there's another one. So I was trying to get that light effect from these torches. So it looks pretty rough at this stage. It's still not completely blocked in. I'm getting there. It's almost done though. I mean, the main focal point is pretty much blocked in. It's just trying to get this sidewalk and stuff that I was painting on, trying to block that in here. I'm trying to push the value as well, so I got to wait for things to dry a little bit, and just trying to get that very dark value in there so that I can see on my painting what isn't dark enough, what needs to be darkened. Working on the effect of the shoreline there. There's a bunch of rocks and stuff. It's pretty crazy that they have this road that's literally right next to the ocean. I mean, I don't know how they stop like erosion from happening. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they built a wall and everything and have these rocks, but I imagine everything else is just eroding. I mean, eventually they're gonna have to figure something out there. But yeah, it's just interesting, man. These things that humans do. Yeah, let's put these restaurants right on the ocean. Great idea. So now I'm putting in some line work and kind of this wood panels and stuff that was on this building. And this is really starts helping bring it together. Because it kind of just, it allows me to add, it's like shadows and stuff, and just helps bring the focal point together a little bit more. Having the most detail there. Painting in a cool cast shadow there from the street light. And like I said, this whole thing probably could have been darker, but I didn't want to go too dark. I kind of wanted to have this kind of warm versus cool, orange and purples, and it was kind of cool. But I think nowadays if I was repainting this, looking at this a few months later, I probably could have gone a lot darker with it. But that's the tricky part with watercolor. I'm always afraid to go too dark right at the beginning, because it's hard to, it's kind of permanent once you do that. There's no turning back really. So it's interesting that this far into the painting, I still haven't blocked in the bottom left. There we go. Finally painting that in. Like, that should have been painted in a while back. Come on, man. So there we go. Now I can get a kind of a better read on this painting overall, for the most part. Trying to add some warmth there for these lights hitting the sidewalk there. So yeah, this is almost the end of the painting. So I think it came out pretty well. It looks like an evening type of setting. It's not like my greatest painting ever from Hawaii, but it's a cool experience, man. Painting at night, doing a nocturne. Definitely want to try more of these in the future. I mean, it's super challenging for me. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Hope you enjoyed the snorkeling at the beginning, seeing some of the wildlife and stuff that's out there in the ocean. It's kind of creepy, but let's take a look at the final paintings here. So there's the sunset, and let's take a look at the nocturne and some normal lighting. There we go. Pretty cool. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next episode. Peace.